Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. Welcome to the match review of our 3-2 win over Derby tonight. And you guys, this game, first thing I need to say is credit to Derby. Honestly, I'm not trying to sound patronising, but they do look like a Premier League side. Of course, they're coached fantastically well by Frank Lampard and Jody Morris, and they really did give us a very difficult night. And in a way, we were very fortunate and lucky to get something out from this game. So, testament to Derby and the team. But you guys, as you can see on my left-hand side, I am sponsored today by OneFootball. As you can see, here are some of the stats from today's game. And honestly, you guys, this is why the OneFootball app is perfect for you, because you're able to get all your football information, wants and needs. Everything is just a swipe away on your phone, in your pocket. If you want to help support me and help support the content I do, please go on the link in the description below to download the OneFootball app. But anyway, you guys, getting straight into things, starting with the lineup, and really the only surprise was seeing Loftus-Cheek playing down that right-hand side and not playing as a number 8. It was a pretty strong midfield with Kante playing. I don't think a lot of us were expecting that. I think a lot of us assumed that maybe Barkley or Drinkwater or Kovacic would be playing over Kante. But I think the reason as to why Sarri decided to use Kante was because obviously with Zappacosta down that right-hand side with Cahill and Loftus-Cheek ahead of him, it's not the best in terms of, structure and strength defensively down that side. So with Kante playing that, it does really help to balance out things a bit. So, it makes a lot of tactical sense as to why Sarri did use him. Getting straight into the game, and honestly, things really kicked off a lot in the first 11 minutes. The first goal is unfortunate. It comes from Tomori. It is an own goal. And, I did feel for him in that first half, of course, when you make such a big error like that, especially when it was so random, so fluky, so lucky. It is going to take your confidence away a bit, but I have to give credit to him. He was a different player in that second half. Looked very assured, used his recovery pace very well, and was very strong defensively. And again, the guy does look pretty promising. And not too long after that, Gary Cahill steps up and really shows Tomori how to cost the goal for your team. Honestly, I don't understand what happened there, but I have to be honest, I was kind of laughing a bit with just how funny that mistake was. I don't know how he slipped, but that's Gary Cahill for you. And then after that, another own goal is scored. This time it comes from Keogh. And in a way, we're very fortunate to be 2 goals up without really having tested the goal. Derby get the equaliser again. Very good play. And then we do win the game in the end. It does come courtesy of Cesc Fabregas during the first half. And that's how we were able to win the game 3-2. Now, you guys, of course, I got all the goals out the way. Now I'm going to start delving into some of the interesting talking points of tonight's game. Starting with the tactics of both teams. Now, the reason why Derby really caused us a lot of issues and problems in today's game was due to the fact that their pressing was on point. It was very effective, very well put together, and you can see that the players really know what they're doing. And one player that really struggled with Derby's pressing today was Cesc Fabregas. And when it comes to Cesc, it was a weird game because, he was showing good pieces of play with his great passing, great distribution, starting attacks from deep. But it was kind of like Cesc thought, I'm finally playing in my natural role, playing as like that deep line playmaker regista in a way. And he must have obviously thought that he's back at Arsenal, because the amount of times he was being pretty irresponsible positionally happened time and time again. Now, when you see Jorginho, you get a lot from Jorginho. Now, let's be serious. Cesc is probably a better passer, but in terms of playing that role, Jorginho just does it a bit better. Not only is he better defensively and a bit stronger in those one-on-one tackles, but it's how he helps out the team off the ball. Number one, he's the guy that starts our pressing, and this is why we look so solid, and this is why we reduce so many opposition teams' counter-attacks throughout games. And with Jorginho as well, when he drops deep, he does become that passing outlet. Mason Mount had a man-marking job on Cesc Fabregas tonight. This was how Derby used their high-pressing tactics. It was a man-marking style. They weren't putting their players on each of our players. And Cesc, in a way, seemed to struggle a tiny bit. Now, it seemed like he was trying to move up the pitch a bit higher to really lose his marker. But when you do that, you're putting pressure on the defence. We're a team that do play out from the back. That's how we play. Every player needs to play their part. And if Cesc is always, moving up high up the pitch every time, what's guys like Cahill supposed to do? We create a lot of passing patterns when we play out from the back. And this is why we're one of the best teams in Europe at doing this. And if Cesc is actually pushing higher up into midfield and not becoming that passing outlet, it makes it hard for us to really play out from the back and build attacks. And this is where Cesc was pretty disappointing in my opinion. Now, of course, I'm saying that, the guy was playing on very fine lines throughout this entire game because it was due to him actually pushing further up. That was how he was able to get the third goal for us, so we did benefit from that. But in that sense, Derby created a lot of chances against us, and in a way, on a different night, they could have won this game, and it would have come down to Cesc Fabregas not really doing his defensive work or his defensive due diligence. Both teams tonight tried to build their attacks down either flank. Now, a lot of times we were focusing our attacks more down that left-hand side, and, we saw a lot of the good of what Emerson can provide, being that fullback that does attack, that does carry the ball, can beat a man, and he really caused Bogle quite a lot of issues. But defensively, he did struggle at times. Now, you guys, there's one thing we do need to understand. This was our second string team, and it was the first time that this team had played against an opposition team that did press high and did try to win the ball back in their own half. And you could really start to notice the fact that, this team don't really play that much together, and they were struggling at times. And I think that this is how Derby were able to create so many incisive counter-attacks every single time. And it was like everything was down to a lack of communication with the team. How many times do our players push higher up the pitch, leaving other players exposed, not really providing those passing outlets, which they should be doing much deeper in our own half. And I kind of think that Emerson was testament to this for tonight. Derby were very good today at creating those chances down the flanks. And, as I said in the match preview, and as a lot of you guys know already, watching Morris and Lampard with the youth teams last year, a lot of good that they do comes down the flanks. It comes down to creating those overloads, creating those 2v1s. And, Derby really profited from the miscommunication with a lot of our players in our own half. I thought Mount was quietly impressive today. I think when it came to pressing, very, very good. And if you're sorry, you definitely did pay attention to that, because if you think about which one of our midfielders could really do a similar job to what Mason Mount did tonight against us, and he was very intelligent with his movement off the ball, dropping deeper, his passes, the positions he took up in the half space, and it was no surprise that he got the assist for the equaliser for Derby. Got to talk about Gary Cahill too, and the guy was just very, very poor today. And I don't know, there was a moment that happened in the second half that did kind of annoy me a bit. Sarri takes off Christensen for David Luiz, and even though I can understand the tactical implications, I just can't understand that when Cahill has been the worst player for us, when he's made most of the mistakes, poor passing out from the back, making the mistake for Derby's first goal, and just struggling defensively at times, how can you take off Christensen and leave Cahill on the pitch? What message is that really giving Christensen? Is it any surprise that Christensen is struggling a tiny bit? Because it's as if the manager doesn't really have much faith and confidence in him. Of course, Ruben was taken off later on, and I gotta say, Ruben was very good tonight. Now, during the first half of the game, we were focusing a lot of our attacks down that left-hand side, but then, with Derby's very good defensive structure and their pressing, we started to really balance out our play. We started to utilise that right side flank, and Ruben really just showed us his versatility as a football player. And when I watched him today, I just really realised, wow, the guy's overall game has really improved a lot. Now, I remember under Conte, I was really struggling. Now, yes, it's a bit different tactically in the sense that, under Conte, the team was very rigid. There wasn't much movement off the ball. Under Sarri, it's completely different. So Ruben does have those passing options around him. But watching his overall game today, the amount of times he had Maloney on blast throughout this entire game, his link-up play, everything good that Zappacosta did was aided by the fact that Ruben Loftus-Cheek was very impressive down that right-hand side. And when he was subbed off later on, someone actually tweeted out, Nini, don't react too negatively. Maybe Sarri is resting him to use him against Crystal Palace this week. So it's looking quite likely when you think about it. But even then, Sarri does make those substitutions to really try and seal out the game. And the subs he makes really shows you how much he respected how Derby were playing and why he couldn't really take things for granted or really afford to take that risk. Luiz does come on, and in that sense, our build-up play from the back was just much better. And this is why I'm always referring to Luiz and Rudiger as like extra deep-lying playmakers, because it's what they do with their passes that really, really helps a lot. And I don't know, personally, it would have been better if Christensen was playing alongside David Luiz. I mean, if you really think about, defenders under the age of, 23, how many of them really lead their back lines? None of them do, You normally have that older, experienced player alongside them. That really helps them. It really helps take the pressure away from them. And it's no surprise that sometimes when Christensen does look a bit iffy, it's not really helping him because in a way, he is going to be bottlenecked by Gary Cahill. And what was really quite disappointing about this game was the fact that we really didn't create too many chances, and this is testament to how Derby was playing. Now, I told you guys when Derby play off the ball, when they're starting to press high, they do revert to a 3-4-1-2, and this is no surprise why their midfield players are very solid throughout this entire game. I don't know, Morata today didn't really lose his markers enough, in my opinion. Yeah, some decent pieces of play when it comes to his build-up, but I think there was 1 or 2 occasions where he had chances from headers, which he completely messed up. And I'm thinking, I don't know, not to be rude, but, you know, we spent tons of money on you. You're playing against championship defenders in that sense. If I'm being really cynical, you're expecting a lot more. And of course, Derby in the end did create opportunities to get at us. And I told you guys in the match preview, Marriott is going to be a threat on that counter-attack, especially because he does like to make runs in behinds. And he really stretched us a lot. And it was like, how many times did Derby just have to have one man dropping deeper to create that space for the striker to run into? And it kept catching us out time and time again. And it really just showed you today, against teams that press us high, we have to use guys like Jorginho, and we need to have at least one of either Luiz or Rudiger playing behind as well. Because, you know, we do struggle at times, and I keep stressing, you know, with how we play, everything starts from coming out from the back. If we can't do that effectively or properly, we're going to have huge major issues. But you guys, that's going to be the end for today's match review. Please like, comment and subscribe. Credit to Derby, it was great to see Lampard back here as well. They definitely caused us a lot of issues and, you know, a lot of talking points in regards to our squads and, you know, how we do it against teams that press high come into question. And in a way with Sarri, I mean, should he be rotating a bit more? Maybe if he was rotating a bit more, a lot of these players might be further along in their development playing under Sarri. But you guys, I'm going to keep it moving. Thank you for watching. I'm the FC. This is Blue Lines TV. Signing out.